curse of darkness has always been there. They consume you in the manner that you desires. It could be in the form of dreams, wishes, or even a book. Sheba was a typical girl from a middle-class family. Her parents worked extremely hard to ensure their family's survival. Sheba had been feeling very lonely since her elder brother died a few years ago. Sheba and her brother were very close, and he was always there for her. Sheba was devastated when her brother passed away due to an illness. She had no friends at her school. Everyone avoids her and refers to her as a freak. Sheba has always wished for friends who would be there for her when she needed them. But that wish was long forgotten when the kids her age rejected her because she was different. Sheba is quite emotional. She may not show it sometimes, but she has strong emotions within her, and sometimes she could not hold the emotions in, and so she cries. Sheba adapted to her solitude. She enjoys reading books in her spare time. She always spends her lunch break in the school library to avoid the crowds and find some peace. Sheba was also an excellent student. She does exceptionally well in her exams. She works hard for her grades to receive a scholarship to help her family's financial situation in order to attend college. A new library has recently opened in Sheba's neighborhood. Sheba's school was on summer break. Since Sheba likes books, she decided to pay a visit to the new library. Sheba was curious to see what the new library had to offer. She was considering spending more time in the library. Sheba walked from her house to the library because the distance was so short. She arrived at the library after a few minutes of walking. The library was enormous, with a lovely structure on the outside. Sheba noticed the name of the library. It says, Harbor View Library. Sheba entered the library through the main entrance. Sheba was astounded by what she saw the moment she stepped inside. The library was not only beautiful on the outside, but also on the inside. They had many sections for various types of books. Sheba couldn't contain her delight when she saw all the books. She walked slowly through a few sections, looking for any books that look interesting. Seeing all of the books made Sheba to have a thought about spending her summer break exploring each section of the library. She took a book from a shelf. It was about a romantic fantasy. Sheba found a spot and sat down. She began to read and read. As the time passed, she read plenty of books. Sheba had no idea she had spent so much time in the Harbor View Library. She looked around and noticed she was the only one left in the library. Sheba checked the time and was surprised to see that it was almost dusk. Sheba returned all of the books she had taken to the shelves and began packing her belongings to leave. She walked towards the exit. Suddenly, Sheba stopped walking. Her gaze was drawn to a door in the library's corner, which was slightly open. Sheba's thoughts was filled with curiosity. She didn't know why, but she had the urge to go through the door and see what was behind it. Sheba looked around the reception area and noticed the librarian was missing. Sheba saw it as an opportunity and decided to enter the door. Without a second thought, Sheba walked through the door. She noticed a staircase leading down. Sheba turned on her phone flashlight and walked down the stairs. She entered a basement that looks like an old, small library. The basements had antiquated shelves and old books. There were donation boxes filled with books donated by the people of the town. Sheba's gaze was drawn to one of the boxes. She she had no idea what drew her to it. Sheba approached it and opened the box. Sheba noticed some old books in the box, then took them out one by one. She had no idea what she was doing, as if her mind had been taken over by something else, to force Sheba to find something in the box. After clearing out some books, Sheba discovered an old diary. The diary was brown in color. It was thick and small. The cover was beautifully embroidered with leather, and it had a leather strip to close the book that looked similar to the book's cover. Sheba chose to bring the diary with her. She snuck out of the basement without being noticed. Sheba arrived home and went to her room. She changed into her pajamas after a fresh shower. Sheba sat on her bed, her gaze drawn to the diary on the lamp table. She took the diary and opened it. A name was written on the cover page, the certain name Lilith. Sheba assumed that Lilith must be the owner of this diary. When Sheba said the name out loud, she felt a surge of energy hit her. To her, it felt like a strong breeze. Sheba was perplexed, because the windows had already been closed. She wondered where the breeze was coming from. Sheba turned to the next page, and noticed that something had been written. She began to read about an incident.
Dear Diary, I'm feeling good today. I've made a new friend. She is a new student at my school. Her name is Emma. Everyone used to tease me and refer to me as a freak. But Emma is the only one who sees me as a person and a friend. I'm so glad I met her. Finally, I can put my loneliness behind me and be a normal girl.
After reading the first page, Sheba was drowsy. She could not stand the tiredness. Sheba had never felt so exhausted before. She felt like her energy has been drained. So she closed the diary and went to bed. Sheba fell asleep the moment she closed her eyes. The next day, Sheba could not wake up. She dragged herself out of bed. She went downstairs to eat breakfast. Sheba's father sat there, reading the newspaper. When he saw Sheba, he inquired about her plans for the day. Sheba informed her father that she wished to return to the library. Sheba was on her way to the library after having a delicious meal. Sheba was scrolling through her phone screen and did notice someone walking in front of her. She bumped into that person and dropped her phone. Sheba looked at the person to apologize. She noticed that person was a girl, about the same age as Sheba. Sheba apologized for tripping her up. The girl was pleasant and accepted her apologies. Sheba was intrigued by the girl, because she had never seen her before in town. Sheba inquired if the girl is new in town. The girl smiled and said yes. The new girl also claimed to be a transferred student in the same school as Sheba. Sheba was happy to meet a friendly face. The new girl introduced herself as Emma. Suddenly, Sheba realized she read something similar last night in Lilith's diary. It was also the same name she found in the diary. But Sheba brushed her thoughts aside. She simply assumed it was a coincidence. Sheba and Emma visited the library together. They talked and shared a lot of information. They eventually became friends. Sheba realized they had a lot in common. Emma was a loner too, who dealt with bullies, just like Sheba. Emma was a top student. Sheba was glad to have made a new friend, and realized she was no longer alone. They had decided to meet every weekend, until the summer break was over. Sheba returned home after a wonderful day. She told the story of what had happened to her parents. They were overjoyed to know that Sheba had made a new friend. She returned to her room after dinner. When she entered the room, she noticed the diary. Sheba recalled what had occurred, what she experienced, the incident she read about, like before. She dismissed it as a coincidence. Sheba took Lilith's diary and began reading the second page. Sheba started to read another incident.
Dear Diary, the agony of my family has come to an end. My father has been promoted to a higher position in his affairs. Our family can now earn more than average wages. Mum and Dad are overjoyed, and seeing them makes me happy. I am grateful for this moment.
After reading the second page, Sheba felt the same tiredness she had before. She considered reading a few pages, but her sudden tiredness forced her to return to bed. The next morning, Sheba went downstairs to the living room. She noticed her parents were in a good mood. She wondered what had happened. Sheba went to ask her parents why they were so excited. Sheba's mother informed her that her father had been promoted in his office. Sheba was overjoyed when she heard the news and ran to hug her parents. But then, Sheba remembered what she had read in Lilith's diary the night before. Sheba experienced the second incident as well. Sheba dashed to her room after her parents excused her. She took Lilith's diary and wondered if it was a magical book that made wishes come true. Two conflicts in Sheba's life were fixed after reading two incidents from the diary. This made Sheba wonder if reading the diary could help her solve her problems. Over the next few days, Sheba read a few pages of Lilith's diary. She eventually came across the same incidents that changed few things in her life. Every incident resulted in a happy ending for her. Sheba was convinced that Lilith's diary was a magical book. She didn't tell anyone about her secret, because she believed no one would believe her even if she did. Sheba was overjoyed by everything that had occurred, and she was unaware of the consequence. Every time she read a page, Sheba was exhausted. She didn't know why. She was turning pale and weak. On the other hand, she did not take it seriously until the true danger knocked on her door. One night, Sheba read another incident, and this time, the incident was terrifying, rather than exciting.
Dear Diary, something is wrong. Something is absolutely wrong with me. I'm running out of energy. My skin is very pale. This cold breeze is blowing around me. I'm constantly tired and weak. I'm having a disturbing thought about hurting myself. Someone or something seems to be telling me to take a knife and slit my throat. What is the significance of this thought? Why do I feel the need to kill myself? I can't take it any longer.
Sheba felt a shiver run down her spine after reading about the incident. She began to sweat, and her breathing became faster than usual. Sheba immediately closed the diary and sat in terror. She pondered whether she too would perish like Lilith. Suddenly, Sheba became pale and weak. She felt the cold breeze around her and an extreme exhaustion. Sheba was shivering. She then heard a voice inside her mind. Sheba, take a knife and slit your throat. Sheba covered her ears, because the voice in her head kept repeating itself. Sheba threw away the diary. Suddenly, she was struck by a wave of silence. There were no voice nor a cold breeze. A strange sound came from her closet. Sheba looked at the closet door and saw it open, revealing a frightening figure. The figure appeared to be a teenage girl. Her nails were completely black. Her eyes were as white as two bright lights, and her mouth was open until her cheekbones were exposed. With terrifyingly sharp teeth, Sheba screamed and dashed to her parents' room. The door to her parents' room appears to be locked, so she called out her parents. But they didn't open the door, as they could not hear Sheba from outside. Sheba ran down the stairs, feeling helpless. She then heard a voice once again.
You got what you desired. Now I'm taking what's rightfully mine.
When Sheba turned around, she saw the diary was floating in the air. She was at a loss for what to do. Suddenly, Sheba felt she was holding something. She noticed she was holding a sharp knife in her hand. Sheba was unable to scream or talk. The ghost figure appeared in front of Sheba and said,
Join me, Sheba.
Sheba was sobbing, feeling helpless. She then looked at the floating diary. Sheba ran towards the diary and grabbed it. She dashed away and threw it in the fireplace in the living room. The diary started to burn in the fire. While the diary was burning, the ghost screamed in pain. Her spirit was surrounded in a cloud of black smoke. She then vanished completely into thin air. Emptiness, loneliness may lead you into the darkness. The dark side is always a mystery, which might bring a curse. Be aware of the Lilith's curse. She seeks the lonely souls. If you are unfortunate, you will be joining her on the dark side.